guest is probably best known as Australia's gold medal diver. He even clocked the highest score in Olympic history, but there's so much more to the complicated life of Matthew Mitcham. He's also an author, recently writing about his demons and addiction to crystal meth. As well, he's a playwright and performer who's about to star in his own show. Please welcome him into Studio 10. It's Matthew Mitcham. Hello.
Aren't you lovely?
Hi.
Come and have a seat, Matthew.
My God, what happened?
You have lived so
life.
much life. What do you think makes you such an overachiever?
My destructive need for everyone to like me.
Really?
So I try really hard. I always used to think that if I was like the smartest or the best at something, then people would love me. And so I think that was actually a really powerful driving force throughout my sporting career because, you know, I was just... I felt neglected a bit as a child.
You had quite a fractured relationship with your mum.
Yeah, so I grew up in a
love.
single-parent household and she was sick herself, and so I felt like to get attention that I needed to be the best in the world at something, and so I think that was a really powerful driving force.
I hope you're gentler, though, on yourself, though, now, aren't you?
I am now,
because
yeah.
You're beautiful the way you are. We love you as you are. You don't have to be, you know, an Olympic champion. But you don't.
But can I ask you, because many people watching will be interested in this, because a lot of people do have low self-esteem and they want to be liked and will sacrifice a great deal, perhaps, of their own integrity to achieve it. How have you achieved it? How have you built the self-esteem and not cared so much about others?
It's actually been quite an intense process. Over the last couple of years, I've actually done... I've embarked on my journey of personal development and, you know, actually started from hitting a rock bottom with my depression, which manifested in a drug addiction. And so I had to go to rehab, and then I just did a lot of really intensive psychotherapy and just learnt how to be a better person. Because I think mental health is one of those things, it's not like a gold medal where you can say, yes, I've won mental health. It's one of those things that it doesn't have a tangible outcome, but it's something that you can improve on for the rest of your life.
And do you think it's like an addiction, like once you're an alcoholic, you are actually always an alcoholic, and you're always going to have it there somewhere, no matter how much you achieve?
Yeah, and, well, I guess addiction to what? To being successful or something. To being
successful and to that need to be liked. Someone said to me recently on Twitter, you have such a desperate need for everyone to like you. I'm like, duh. Have you read my book? Of course I do.
I always found that strange, because who has a desperate need for people to hate them?
Yeah.
Like, surely
some would
everyone
say you, Joe. Some would say you.
Yeah, well, that just happens anyway.
But, Joe, is this kind of an alien concept to you? Because you strike me as someone who is perhaps indifferent to whether you're liked or not. Is that the wrong...
Well, no, I think you have to say what you think, and you have to say what you think is the right thing to say, and you have to put certain issues on the table and put what you think the facts are, and not just say things to make people feel better for the sake of it, if that's not the right way to present an issue or to improve a situation long term. But we should probably talk to Matthew, because it's his segment.
It's his segment, and you're actually here to talk about your new show.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
So it's based on the autobiography that I wrote after the London 2012 Olympics.
Wow.
Well, that I wrote after. I actually started writing it, you know, in 2010, so it took me a year and a half to write it, but I finished it just after London. And that encapsulates, I guess, everything, because, you know, I was only 24 years old, so I had to put absolutely everything in there. But a large part of that was about mental health and depression and how it manifested in my life, which was... As a teenager, it manifested in self-harm, and then as an adult, it manifested in drug abuse. And I felt it was really important to talk about all this stuff because, I mean, I was going through it at the time, so it was a wonderful part of the process of writing the book. But when I was a teenager and I was looking for literature about depression, all I could find was stuff written by people who were in their later stages of life, and I couldn't really relate to it. So I felt that at 24 years of age, I had a really wonderful opportunity to hopefully be more relevant to teenagers suffering from depression. And I guess the philosophy behind being as candid as I was that if the potential benefit to others outweighed the potential detriment to myself, then I really felt it ought to be shared.
Yeah, but that still doesn't explain the ukulele.
I think you are fabulous, and bravo to you, because by sharing your story, you are helping so many other young people out there by being brave and courageous. I just think you're amazing.
Look, you've actually turned your story into a musical, which explains the ukulele. Are you going to perform for us?
Absolutely.
Yay!
Yeah, that is fantastic. What are you going to perform?
So this is, I'm going to say a very old, that might offend some people, an old song called 5'2", Eyes of Blue.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually relevant to my story because when I was about 6 years old, my mum had a fight with the electricity company, and so she stuck a big middle finger up at them and said, fine, turn our electricity off. So we lived for 6 months without any electricity.
Oh my God.
So like we had to live by candlelight, we had to boil water for baths on the gas stove, and for entertainment we had an old wind-up gramophone, and so this was one of the records that we used to listen to.
So you share all of this with humour and music?
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, I mean, I guess there's a mix of you know, lightheartedness and silliness and happy-go-luckiness. But, you know, when you talk about the darker themes, sometimes to really do it justice,
Now, Matt,
you have to get into it.
Let's get into it.
We want to hear you perform just really quickly. Where are you playing? We'll get you to play out to break.
Okay, so Melbourne Cabaret Festival,
Yep.
June 20 to 22.
Okay.
And then I'm touring the rest of the country after the Commonwealth Games this year.
Take it away.
Yay! Let's hear.
5'2", eyes of blue, but oh, what those 5 feet can do. Has anybody seen my girl? Turned up nose, turned down hose, a flapper, yes sir, one of those. Has anybody seen my girl? Now if you run into a 5'2", covered with fur, oh yeah, diamond rings and all those things, you bet your ass it isn't her. Could she love? Could she woo? Could she coo? Has anybody seen? Has anybody seen? Has anybody seen my girl?